Scorpio, I want to tell you something honestly before anything else. The money that slipped out of your life, the support you believed was gone for good, is beginning to find its way back to you. And this return will not feel distant or symbolic. It will arrive in a way that catches you off guard emotionally, because what's being restored reaches far beyond finances. It touches the part of you that almost stopped believing life could answer your prayers after such a long silence. You did not land on this video randomly, even if it happened through habit or simple curiosity. Something underneath the surface is shifting between June 3rd and June 4th, and this message may feel strangely personal because part of you was already waiting for it. A quiet opening is forming in your life now, an energetic window where something you slowly released, something you stopped speaking about out loud, begins moving back toward you again. You have lived through seasons where effort felt endless, and the reward never seemed to arrive, no matter how much of yourself you gave. Some of those losses stayed with you in ways other people never fully saw. They were not only about money, but about trust, exhaustion, and the emotional weight of carrying disappointment in silence. Even while trying to remain strong, focused, and spiritually grounded, there were nights when you questioned whether anything good would truly return to you again. But hear this clearly now. What was delayed was not forgotten, and what felt withheld from you was never meant to break you. There was preparation happening beneath the surface, even during the periods that felt still. Now the energy begins to loosen. What once felt frozen starts softening, and you may already feel a quiet stirring inside yourself as this shift approaches. That feeling is not imaginary. It is your intuition recognizing movement again after carrying survival mode for too long. The message unfolding here speaks not only to your financial life, but also to healing your nervous system, rebuilding your sense of worth, and remembering that receiving can feel safe again. This is about more than money, Scorpio. It is about finally allowing yourself to believe life can support you too. Before we go deeper into this message, take a moment to claim it for yourself. Leave a comment below and write, "I am ready to receive without fear." It may seem small, but words spoken with intention carry weight. When you type those words, you are doing more than commenting. You are opening space within yourself and signaling that you are willing to stop chasing what is already beginning to align with you. And truly, thank you for being here, for listening, and for allowing yourself to stay present with this message. Every comment, every like, and every moment of support helps keep this space alive for people who need reminders like this during difficult seasons. Your presence matters more than you realize, and the energy exchanged here is deeply meaningful. So stay with me through every part of what's unfolding, because what begins opening for you between June 3rd and June 4th carries the potential to shift far more than your finances, and you will want to hear where this energy leads next. As the sun moves into a gentle trine with Neptune and the moon drifts through your second house of income and value between June 3rd and June 4th, a quiet, energetic doorway begins to open. This is not loud or dramatic energy. It feels more like a warm current finally returning to water that has stood still for too long. If you have spent years feeling as though your effort disappeared into empty space, as though your work gave more than it ever returned, this is where the tide slowly begins to shift back toward you. What felt lost was never truly erased. It was waiting for the right emotional and spiritual timing to move again. Part of this season is not only about external readiness, but about your inner world becoming able to hold what is trying to return. Scorpio, you know what endurance feels like better than most. You have carried pressure quietly, adapted in silence, and survived seasons that changed you from the inside out. At the same time, some of the heaviness surrounding money came from the constant need to control every outcome, to make everything logical, immediate, and measurable before you could trust it. But abundance moves differently. Like water, it responds to openness instead of force. Until now, there may have been parts of you still preparing for disappointment before anything good even arrived. Parts of you waiting for loss before allowing yourself to relax into hope. This Sun-Neptune alignment softens those defenses little by little, the way rain smooths rough stone over time. And as the moon moves through your second house, something subtle begins activating inside you. It is almost like an inner signal turning back on, reminding your nervous system that receiving can feel safe again. Once that shift begins, your energy changes completely because you stop exhausting yourself trying to chase, repair, or control every outcome. Instead, you begin allowing life to meet you halfway. In that softer space, things that once felt frozen start moving again. Delayed payments, forgotten accounts, unresolved paperwork, old reimbursements or support you stopped expecting may slowly begin finding their way back into motion. Not randomly, but through timing that is finally aligning with where you are emotionally now. And this is important to understand. Your second house is not only connected to money, it reflects self-worth, security, and what you quietly believe you deserve to hold. What have you convinced yourself is too much to ask for? What forms of abundance did you push away because receiving them made you uncomfortable or afraid of becoming a burden, a target, or someone others would misunderstand? This transit brings those beliefs into the light gently, not to embarrass you, but to release you from carrying them any longer. Because the deeper truth underneath all of this was never only about finances. It was about your willingness to receive what your soul has been trying to move toward for a very long time. That is why this season unfolds through trust, rest, emotional grounding, and spiritual alignment, rather than endless struggle. What belongs with you does not require you to fight yourself to exhaustion. It reaches you more easily when your body is no longer bracing for loss, when your breathing slows down, and when your hands stop holding on so tightly. So let me ask you something honestly. Is there a loss you still revisit quietly sometimes, maybe late at night, when your mind drifts back to what should have been yours? If that memory surfaced just now, pay attention to it. Something connected to that energy is beginning to circle back around, and this opening between June 3rd and June 4th may be part of what finally shifts the movement. Take a moment to speak your intention aloud, or even better, leave it in the comments below. Share what you are ready to reclaim, and allow the act of naming it to become the first step toward welcoming it back into your life. Not because the universe needs proof from you, but because your own heart needs to hear that you are finally open to receiving again. This is your doorway. This is the beginning of movement. Step into it. Scorpio, when the Ace of Pentacles appears in a message like this, it carries more than the promise of financial improvement. It feels like a quiet reminder from life itself that your hands are not empty, even after everything you have carried. Something tangible is trying to enter your world now, something real enough to hold, build with, protect, and receive fully. The deeper question is not whether the opportunity exists, but whether you are finally willing to let yourself accept it. I say that gently because so much of your life may have taught you to earn everything through exhaustion. You learn to fight for progress inch by inch, to keep proving yourself, and to wait far too long for acknowledgement. But this energy does not ask you to push harder. Between June 3rd and June 4th, the shift unfolding around you asks for something far more difficult for someone used to surviving. It asks you to soften enough to receive without shame attached to it. The image connected to the Ace of Pentacles often shows a hand emerging from the clouds, holding a gold coin toward the earth below. That image has existed in countless forms over the years, but the meaning beneath it never really changes. Something valuable is being placed within reach, emotionally, spiritually, and financially, and it is not arriving by accident. You did not force this moment into existence. You slowly aligned yourself with it, even during periods when you thought nothing was moving at all. Astrologically, this mirrors the energy created when movement activates your second house, the space connected to income, value, stability, and self-respect. It reflects the truth that attraction is not simply wishing for something harder. It is what happens when your inner state shifts from constant defense into trust, from expecting loss into allowing support. Once that shift happens, what has been trying to reach you finally finds room to arrive. Because abundance is not punishment reversed or suffering finally repaid. It is resonance. It moves toward the version of you that no longer believes struggle is the only doorway to receiving. And for many Scorpios, that can feel deeply uncomfortable at first. Part of you still remembers what it felt like when good things disappeared unexpectedly, when hope created pressure, or when attention carried hidden costs you were not prepared for. This message does not ignore those experiences. It meets them gently and reminds you that your nervous system no longer has to live as though loss is always waiting around the corner. You are allowed to unclench. You are allowed to stop preparing for disappointment before life even has the chance to surprise you. That is what makes this period meaningful. Not because miracles appear from nowhere, but because you are becoming emotionally available for something different to finally stay. The Ace of Pentacles carries energy that waits patiently rather than forcing itself into your life. It stands outside the doorway until you are ready to welcome it in willingly. And now, little by little, that doorway is beginning to open. So ask yourself honestly, can you receive what is arriving without guilt attached to it? Can you let support, abundance, or opportunity enter your life without immediately questioning whether you deserve it? If something inside you quietly says yes, honor that feeling. Speak it aloud, or leave a comment below saying, "I am ready to receive without fear." What seems like a small declaration can become a powerful signal to your own body and mind that safety, support, and stability no longer feel impossible. It reminds your nervous system that receiving does not always lead to loss. You have spent so much energy pouring yourself into other people, responsibilities, healing, work, and simple survival. This energy asks you to finally direct some of that care toward yourself. And the opportunity moving toward you now, the one you once believed had passed you by, is closer than it first appears. The next step is allowing yourself to take it when it arrives. And when the Six of Wands enters this message, the energy shifts again in a quiet but undeniable way. It feels as though every unseen effort, every sacrifice made in silence, and every moment you chose integrity over bitterness has been noticed somewhere beyond your immediate view. This card carries the feeling of rising naturally into recognition, not through ego or performance, but because what you carry inside can no longer remain hidden from the world around you. You are entering a season where your value becomes visible in ways that once felt unreachable. Not because you transformed into someone new, but because you stopped shrinking yourself to fit inside places that could not fully recognize your depth. And now, the world begins responding differently to the truth you were carrying all along. Scorpio, you have always carried a depth that people could feel, even when they could not fully explain it. You move through life with instinct, intensity, and emotional awareness that often reaches beyond words. For a long time, though, that same depth may have made you feel misunderstood or unseen, as if your gifts belonged in quieter corners where they would not draw too much attention. You kept offering what you carried, trusting that one day the right people would recognize its value without you having to force it. Now the energy begins shifting, not because you suddenly become louder, but because what you bring into the world can no longer remain hidden. Between June 3rd and June 4th, there is movement building around your purpose, especially in the way others respond to your work, your insight, and your presence. You are beginning to be recognized for what you truly are, someone who guides, heals, teaches, creates, or helps others find clarity during difficult seasons. And with that recognition, your financial life begins moving differently too. The Six of Wands is not simply about praise or attention. It reflects what happens when your purpose aligns so naturally with your path that prosperity starts flowing through the impact you make. This feels especially meaningful for those working in healing, education, creativity, caregiving, or emotionally driven work built around service and connection. You are not finally receiving support because you performed perfectly. You are being met for the courage it took to stay committed to your path when few people understood where you were going. As your work reaches more people, reciprocity begins finding its way back to you. Opportunities appear more easily, conversations open unexpected doors, and projects that once felt distant begin moving closer. Not because luck suddenly changed, but because you are becoming more open to receiving what you have quietly earned over time. The deeper truth in this season is simple. The more honestly you align with what feels real instead of shaping yourself around approval, the more naturally abundance responds. Money moves differently when it is connected to integrity rather than performance. Now that you are no longer hiding your value to make others comfortable, life begins meeting you differently. This becomes a season of visible movement, Scorpio, where delays finally begin loosening. For some, this may appear as recognition, promotion, leadership, or a creative opportunity that once felt out of reach. For others, it may arrive through one conversation or one invitation that quietly changes everything that follows. So pause for a moment and ask yourself honestly, can you allow yourself to be fully seen now? Can you trust that the light you carried privately for so long is finally ready to reach beyond the places where it stayed hidden? If that feeling rises inside you, leave a comment below saying, "I've carried light through the fire, and now I'm ready to receive." Let those words become a reminder of everything you survived without losing your heart in the process. Because you did not only survive difficult seasons, you carried wisdom, compassion, and quiet strength through them. And now that energy begins returning to you in multiplied ways. Scorpio, there comes a point where freedom no longer means escape. It begins to mean peace inside your own body. That is the energy unfolding now. When the Nine of Pentacles appears, it carries a calmer form of abundance, rooted in stability, self-respect, and the quiet confidence of someone who no longer measures their value through constant struggle. This card reflects the life you have been building slowly, even during periods when progress felt invisible. It speaks about reaching a place where money no longer controls your emotions, because your relationship with safety itself has started healing. The way you see yourself changes too, because your worth no longer depends entirely on outside validation. Astrologically, this energy strengthens as Jupiter moves through the part of your chart connected to income, resources, and long-term stability. But instead of pushing you to chase more, this season asks you to create space for what is already beginning to move toward you. That means preparing with calm intention instead of fear. When Jupiter touches this part of your chart between June 3rd and June 4th, it brings more than financial growth. It brings support that creates steadiness, comfort, freedom, and the ability to build a life that truly reflects who you have become. And the deeper lesson here matters. Financial peace is not only about having more money, it is about healing the exhaustion and fear connected to survival mode. It is learning how to trust what you already hold, instead of living as though everything could disappear overnight. Start with small, practical things. Organize your wallet, clear away old receipts, remove cards connected to stress, and make space for something new. Look honestly at your finances without shame attached to them. Even paying off one small debt can become a signal to your mind and body that movement has already begun. Take time to think about how you would actually use greater financial support if it arrived, not from fantasy, but from readiness. When you prepare with intention, your relationship with the future changes. You stop waiting helplessly and begin acting as though life is finally opening instead of closing. And gratitude becomes part of that process too. Not gratitude for barely surviving, but gratitude that says, I know something meaningful is already moving toward me. Speak those words aloud or write them down often. Thank you for the money already finding its way back to me. Let that feeling settle deeper than affirmation until your nervous system begins believing it too. Because Scorpio, you know what it feels like to carry pressure silently for too long. You know what it means to survive on very little while still showing up for others with dignity. This message is not asking you to continue suffering until life finally softens. It is asking you to release the belief that struggle must always come first. The path unfolding now carries a gentler energy. You are allowed to want peace, comfort, beauty, and stability without apologizing for it. Wanting a calmer life does not make you selfish, and desiring rest does not make you weak. So if something inside you softened while hearing this, let that become the beginning of something new. Let it move into your routines, your choices, and the way you speak to yourself about what is possible now. You are no longer trapped inside survival mode. You are learning how to receive with openness instead of fear. And if you feel that quiet readiness growing inside you, honor it. Leave a comment below saying, "Thank you for the money already finding its way back to me." Let those words become more than hope. Let them become proof that part of you already knows the door is beginning to open. There is a kind of healing that reaches deeper than simply covering old wounds and pretending they no longer ache. It arrives quietly, almost like morning light slipping beneath a door you forgot had been closed for years. That is the energy of the star. And between June 3rd and June 4th, this energy speaks about far more than financial improvement. It signals that your body, mind, and spirit are finally loosening their grip on survival. Your breathing changes first. The tension in your chest softens, your sleep becomes deeper, and your nervous system slowly remembers what safety feels like again. This is not only financial relief, it is emotional recovery. As the pressure begins lifting, the version of you that existed before disappointment hardened everything starts returning to the surface again. The hopeful, trusting part of you that once dreamed freely without expecting loss begins waking up. That is what the star brings. It reminds you that peace is not reserved for other people and that hope can feel safe again. During this season, even ordinary moments begin feeling different. You may crave slower mornings, simpler meals, fresh air, or quiet walks that help you reconnect with yourself instead of escaping your thoughts. These are signs that your body is no longer trapped in constant defense. It is settling, it is healing, and the financial support entering your life now carries a deeper meaning too. It becomes proof that you are no longer living entirely inside crisis mode. It allows you to experience life instead of only enduring it. Healing also asks for your participation. It may look like taking a few quiet minutes each morning to breathe deeply before the world reaches you, stepping away from your phone more often, or creating small rituals that bring your spirit back into balance. Even the colors you feel drawn to now may matter more than you realize. Soft turquoise can bring calm, gold can reconnect you with confidence and abundance, and pale violet may sharpen your inner guidance. Scorpio, you have survived seasons that made you question your own worth. But the energy guiding you now leads you towards softness, clarity, and emotional peace that strengthens you instead of weakening you. The version of yourself emerging through this season is not fragile. It is wiser, more open, and finally ready to meet life halfway. So if you have been feeling a quiet shift inside lately, trust it. And if these words resonate deeply, say them aloud or write them down. I am healing. I am awakening. Let those words settle into your body and spirit as something already unfolding. Because this season is not only about recovery, it is about becoming someone new from the inside out. And Scorpio, after everything moving around you now, take one slow breath and feel this clearly. You are not standing outside the miracle waiting for permission to enter it. You are becoming the doorway through which that change finally returns. The World card carries an energy far greater than simple endings. It speaks about returning fully to yourself after years of emotional exhaustion, survival, and cycles that felt impossible to escape. Between June 3rd and June 4th, this energy begins opening a new chapter, where struggle and silent endurance start giving way to something steadier, calmer, and more complete. This shift did not happen because life suddenly decided to reward you. It happened because some part of your spirit kept going, even during the seasons that drained your hope. There may have been years when you felt behind your own life, watching your faith and confidence slowly wear down. But those experiences became the ground where resilience and wisdom quietly grew. Now the signs around you begin aligning differently. The number 10 reminds you that an old cycle is ending. 111 signals a deeper awakening within yourself, and 888 carries the energy of meaningful abundance beginning to move toward you, not only to repair what was lost, but to expand your life beyond it. You may still wonder how to hold on to this feeling once old fears return. But the answer is gentler than you think. Begin speaking and breathing as though support is already possible. Let trust lead the places where fear once controlled every decision. Ask yourself honestly, what would change if abundance was not something you had to endlessly struggle for, but something your life was finally ready to receive? If this message touched something real inside you, honor that feeling. Leave a comment below saying, "I receive this financial blessing with faith and gratitude." Let those words become more than a sentence. Let them become a declaration that you are emotionally ready to welcome a different reality into your life. And thank you for being here, for listening with an open heart, and for staying connected to this journey. Every comment and every shared moment helps these messages reach the people who need them most. My hope is that these words continue planting seeds of healing, peace, and meaningful abundance as this season unfolds around you. So stay close, keep your heart open, and continue moving forward one step at a time. Because Scorpio, you are no longer waiting for transformation to arrive someday. You are becoming the place where that transformation is finally beginning.